When I first started mixing, I remember being introduced to a digital console, shown how to route the inputs, how to balance the faders, and then I was kind of left to figure the rest out for myself. But I distinctly remember one of the first things I was confused about was the difference between an aux, a matrix, a group, and a DCA. And I made a video about these things, this topic, a while back, but since it's been so long and since it's such a common point of confusion among people starting out, I wanted to make a series of short videos explaining all of this again. So in this video, we're going to start by talking about auxes. Not only are auxes the most important group to understand in mixing, but they're also the only group of the 4 kinds I just mentioned that are available on pretty much every mixer out there. So even if you're mixing on the most expensive digital consoles or you're on a really small analog mixer, you're gonna find auxes most of the time. And once you understand what they do, you'll understand why we can't really do live music without them. So the first thing to understand about an aux is that it's a way to make an entirely separate mix from the main left-right mix going to the PA. And the most common use for this is for personal monitoring for a performer on stage. The performer usually doesn't want to hear the same mix that goes to the audience. They want a dedicated mix that only shows them a handful of inputs that will help them stay on track during the song. So they need a separate mix that only they can hear in their floor monitor or wedge or in-ear monitor or whatever they're using on the stage. So now that we know what an aux is, how do we use these auxes to create a separate mix? Well, an aux is simply a group with any number of input channels sent to it at whatever volume level we choose for each channel. So you can build your own mix headed to this aux. All right, so let's say we have a guitar player on the stage. He wants to hear the drums, the keys, and the lead vocal in his ears, and that's it. All right, well, if we're using a digital mixer, all we have to do is pick an aux, route that aux to the guitarist's in-ears, then select the aux on the console, and then kind of turn up the volume and build that mix with the faders to only the channels in the aux that he wants to hear. All right, and there's usually a button called Sends on Fader that allows you to do this. With an analog mixer, usually there's going to be a knob on each input channel in the channel strip. There will be a knob that says aux 1 or aux 2 or whatever, and you're gonna be able to dial in the amount of level on that specific channel and send it to the aux. But keep in mind, with both kinds of mixers, don't forget to set the aux's master volume as well, because remember, an aux is a separate mix with its own inputs and its own master control. All right, so there you go. There's a quick explanation of auxes. And the next time you need to send a dedicated mix of specific inputs to a destination other than the main PA, you now know what kind of group to use to make that happen. So hopefully this was helpful for you. As always, if you're new to mixing and need a little direction on where to start, go check out my free mixing guide at themixingprocess.com. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.